Right now at 5, authorities investigate an officer-involved shooting which leaves a man dead in rural Joplin.
And we've got ourselves a cold start to the day, but believe it or not, we'll be a little warmer later today than we were yesterday. Details in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we spoke to some shoppers about how they're saving money during this year's Thanksgiving shopping.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, November the 26th, almost said October. We're not going back in time, we're going forward.
Yes, we are.
That also means we do not have that much longer left to 2024.
No, just, a month and some change if you think about it.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Maybe time will kind of get back to normal by next year.
Maybe, but
I feel like
what
the
is
past
normal anymore?
I don't even know these days. Normal though is our seasonably below normal temperatures, but still it's November. It's almost Thanksgiving. It's kind of supposed to be cold, and it certainly is outside. We're gonna start our day with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. As you can see, it looks all right. We got partly cloudy skies, but again, very cold temperatures. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, looking back to the west. Looking good as well. Road's a little empty for now. They will not stay that way, of course. All right, into the afternoon we go. We're going to have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. Winds out of the south will be about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that will help bring in, at least for most of us, some slightly warmer temperatures as we head into the afternoon. Not right now, though. It's 24 in Joplin, 25 in Pittsburgh and across the region. Right now, winds are calm. We're kind of in this little area here where not really much moving. Take a look at these temperatures, though. Low to mid 20s for the majority of us as we start this Tuesday. So, boy, it certainly feels almost like December. Quick look at that bus stop forecast. I'm sure most kids, this is probably your last day of school for the week. You're sitting at 27 when you get on that bus this morning. Partly cloudy skies, calm winds. Definitely grab that jacket, but maybe make sure it's a jacket you can easily put away, or maybe something that's a little lighter, because it will be a little warmer. Low 50s for most of us by this afternoon. Partly cloudy, south breeze 5 to 10. That's where we're headed for our highs, into the low 50s. Some upper 40s will absolutely be possible, and a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. But as we go into the evening, those skies will become straight up mostly cloudy ahead of a cloudy day and breezy day on our Wednesday. We're going to talk about that and, of course, your Thanksgiving Day forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. We'll see you soon. Neosho authorities bring multiple charges against a Kansas City man, including assault on law enforcement. The charges stem from an incident which allegedly occurred Sunday at the Rangeline Road exit of Interstate 44. Lamar Davis of Kansas City has been charged on a 6-count complaint. Those charges include trafficking drugs in the first degree, assault on law enforcement, and resisting arrest. A request for high bond also indicates that defendant stands charged in Oklahoma with drug trafficking and resisting arrest arising from an incident occurring in Craig County on November 28, 2023, in addition to other prior convictions for similar conduct. Authorities in Jasper County investigate an officer-involved shooting which left a man dead. The incident happened about 6:45 Sunday night. Jasper County deputies responded to a disturbance in progress at a residence on West Fountain Road in rural Joplin. When officers arrived, a man identified as Michael Antweiler stepped out of the house with a shotgun and fired at a deputy. The deputy returned fire, striking Antweiler. The deputy then provided first aid until the ambulance arrived. Antweiler was transported to the hospital and pronounced deceased at 8:24 Sunday night. No other residents in the house were injured, and the deputy, who has been placed on administrative leave during the investigation, was not injured.
Yeah, it's just a formality where the officer is placed on administrative leave during the course of the investigation. Of course, I always emphasize it doesn't mean that he did anything wrong or that we suspect that he did anything wrong. It's just a part of our process is that we would put that officer on leave during that time.
Jasper County authorities called in the Missouri State Highway Patrol to conduct the investigation as an outside agency. A harrowing moment for a Wichita, Kansas man. Kyle Walker says he was sleeping when the shooter started firing rounds into his home, 18 in total. And Walker rolled onto the floor, but bullets riddled his bedding and the door leading to his bathroom. Now, while he managed to escape injury, his dog was struck once in the leg. Walker says he's unsure why anyone would target him.
The day following, I've tried to think maybe I honked at someone and he followed me home, or he watched me walking the dog here or something.
Authorities are investigating the incident. We have more on this story on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Multiple first responders near Peoria, Oklahoma were alerted to a fire Sunday evening on East 69th Road. When they arrived, they found a mobile home and its surrounding in flames. Residents of the home were attempting to remove items from the home as the fire burned. No residents were injured. Firefighters remained on the scene for over 3 hours, and it's unknown at this time how many people are displaced. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, shoppers are looking for ways to save money. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to some shoppers at Harps in Baxter Springs about their tips for saving.
Stuffing and mashed potatoes. If you make a good mashed potato, it's so good. You can never go wrong with turkey.
Those are a few things Libby Bergen has on her list for Thanksgiving dinner. But while she shops for the ingredients to her Thanksgiving meals,
Things are really expensive right now.
she's keeping a few saving tips in mind.
I always look for something that is cheaper but will work the same as what might have been more expensive. We always want to try to save a little bit more money because it's a lot of money to spend, especially right before Christmas.
According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, this year, Thanksgiving meals will cost 5% less than last year. But Thanksgiving meals are still up about 20% compared to 5 years ago. Harps Food Store's manager encourages shoppers to download store apps and use store coupons to save money on Thanksgiving dinner.
Download, get registered, say you've clicked your coupons or you grabbed the ad.
At Harps Food Stores, they're offering discounts on select items on their My Hometown Rewards app this holiday season. All they have to do is scan the barcode on their app.
Right here, it shows it with the QR code. It'll pull everything up on the register, and once we hit our final button, it'll take all your discounts off.
Studies show that purchasing the generic item equivalent rather than the name-branded item can provide a mean savings of 44%.
Always check prices before you put it in the bag if you're trying to save money.
Reporting in Baxter Springs, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
At Harps Food Stores, with a purchase of $100, shoppers can get a free turkey. All they have to do is scan the barcode on their app. And let's look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Webb City girls basketball plays its first game of the season. We'll have those details. Plus, a Boeing 737 cargo plane crashes into a home, leaving one dead in Lithuania. And we are tracking warmer temperatures. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Coffeyville Community College football won its regular season finale over Butler on Saturday, which gave the Red Ravens a share of the conference championship and brings their record to 9-2 on the season. Yesterday, the Red Ravens find out that's not good enough for a playoff spot in the NJCAA playoff selection show. Coffeyville finishes as the number 7 team in the country. Only the top 4 earn a trip to the national playoffs. So Coffeyville was right on the cusp of getting in. All 4 of the playoff qualifiers had just 1 loss. Each of Coffeyville's 2 losses came to playoff qualifying teams, Iowa Western and Hutchinson Community College. That means none of our local college football teams are still alive. At the high school level, we've got just 2 of our local squads left in the playoffs. In Class 2, how about the Lamar Tigers? You can just count them out. After going 5-4 in the regular season, the Tigers have won 4 in a row, giving them a berth in the state finals for the 4th year in a row. Lamar will host Bowling Green this Saturday. Winner advances to the state championship. These two met in last year's semifinal game. Lamar won that game by 31 points. Bowling Green has lost just once this year, and that was to Valley Catholic, who they beat in a rematch in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Seneca is also back in the semifinals. This is the 3rd consecutive season that the Indians have made it to this point. Seneca is undefeated. Their closest game all year was a 21-point win over Mount Vernon in Week 2. The Indians just beat the Mountaineers by 29 in a rematch in the quarterfinals this Saturday. Their opponent this week, Lift for Life Academy, located in St. Louis. That semifinal matchup is also coming Saturday at 1 p.m. High school basketball season in the 4 states is just getting started, even with several schools being out of session. A few of them played last night. I'm going to start with New Heights Christian Academy boys hoops. The Cougars lose their first game of the season 62-54 to Miller, who improves to 2-0 with the win. On the girls' side, this one went down to the wire. Seneca goes on the road and beats Neosho 49-46 in the season opener for both teams. That's a great way to start the year for the Lady Indians, who won just 2 games all of last season. Webb City Lady Cardinals kick off their regular season with a COC matchup against the Lebanon Yellow Jackets. First quarter, Yellow Jackets off to an early lead. Morgan Durbin gets the handoff, and she knocks it off the backboard for 3. Lebanon leading by 7. Cardinals clawing back. Kira Long in transition assists Caitlin Sinclair, and she gets the layup, but Lebanon still leads by 6 after 1. Second quarter, Durbin having a night off the corner. She drains another 3. She scores 11 in the first half. 11-point lead now for the Yellow Jackets. Cardinals not giving up easy. Jenna Schultz gets it, and she hits the jumper for 2. That cuts the deficit to 5 at halftime. Webb City falls to Lebanon 69-48 in the season opener. Cardinals travel to McDonald County in 2 weeks for the McDonald County Tournament. So still to come, we'll learn some Thanksgiving tips to help keep you safe from spoiled leftovers. Plus, another check of that forecast and the roller coaster ride of temperatures we're continuing to be on when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News just after 5:17 on this Tuesday morning, closing in on the Thanksgiving holiday, and we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. First, today, though, we're going to have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. We're also going to have a south breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that will allow most of us to be warmer than yesterday. In fact, yesterday we had the early highs in the upper 50s. Temperatures fell slowly through the day. Today's going to be a normal day in terms of the temperatures will rise as we head later into the day. And the south winds will continue overnight. Clouds increasing this evening and overnight. We'll eventually start our Wednesday just straight up cloudy and a bit chilly, but seasonably so. Upper 30s, maybe some low 40s out there as well. Then, as early as say 8, 9 a.m., we do have an opportunity still for an isolated shower or 2. Now, the good news is still at this point, Wednesday looks to be one of the warmest days we'll have for the next several days. So any precipitation we see through the day on Wednesday, while it will be isolated, will at least fall in the form of rain and not as snow or something else. Now, see this. Again, future tracks showing where showers could be. Not necessarily saying it's going to be raining across a big chunk of the area by 5 o'clock tomorrow, but you also will note this rain associated with a boundary that's going to push through. And that brings our winds out of the north. And the winds will also be gusty tomorrow, pushing about 20 miles an hour or so. Then we head into our Thanksgiving morning. Now, initially, we're going to start partly to mostly cloudy, and then we'll see skies begin to clear out progressively. I don't know why the clouds stopped moving, but they did, didn't they? Well, the clouds will eventually clear out. They won't just freeze in place, but it is going to be cold on Thanksgiving. We will eventually reach highs for most of us, as you can see, into the low 40s. Unfortunately, that won't come until much later, so we're going to spend a good portion of Thanksgiving in the 30s. All right, quick look at temperatures. 24 in Joplin, south-southwest breeze at 3, so it is cold outside, to say the least. Winds are calm for the time being, or at least light out there, so we're no major wind chills, but you don't need it. It feels cold enough. 21 in Iola. Warm spot is Cassville at 29, so either way you paint it, all of us in the 20s. And we are all anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago. So talk about a big temperature drop for us. Through the morning, partly cloudy skies, cold start, upper 20s, low 40s by 11 a.m. We're actually going to warm up decently, not fast, but decently. South breeze 5 to 10. And again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies with most of us going into the low 50s today, but some upper 40s will certainly be possible. Into tonight, temperatures falling back through the 40s. Most of us should wrap up in the low 40s, but some upper 30s will be possible. South winds 5 to 10 will continue. For our Thanksgiving, though, this is what I'm talking about. Again, we'll eventually make highs in the low 40s in between here and here, but otherwise it is going to be cold. So just make sure you're prepared for that. If you're doing anything outdoors, maybe. I know the kids, they love to go out and play no matter how cold it is. So make sure you're bundled up. We'll spend a good portion of Thanksgiving in the 30s, clear skies, and an overnight low of 25 degrees. So another night like what we're experiencing now. So again, breezy tomorrow. Winds shifting out of the northwest. They'll start gusting upwards of 20 at times. But again, most of us upper 50s. Then we get cold. That continues into Thanksgiving and Friday. A little warmer Saturday. Much cooler on Sunday. Upper 30s, low 40s for highs. And then we'll start warming up a bit more as we head into the next work week. We've got some low 50s, maybe even some upper 50s by next Thursday. But definitely settling into a much more seasonable pattern for the next several days across the area. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. We have a few more days until Thanksgiving, but it's not too early to be talking about all those leftovers and food safety. Health experts are reminding people of some of the guidelines when it comes to handling and storing extra food. For example, if you're not using a warming tray, turkey leftovers should be put in a refrigerator or freezer within 2 hours. Now that helps slow down bacterial growth. One USDA food safety expert says Thanksgiving leftovers are safe in the refrigerator for up to 4 days. Now, if you freeze them, the leftovers should be eaten within 6 months, but they will need to be reheated to 165 degrees before eating. The 2-hour refrigerator rule applies to side dishes like dressing and green bean casserole as well. Well, it's deemed an urgent global public health threat by U.S. officials. Antimicrobial resistance happens when germs no longer respond to drugs designed to kill them, making it harder and sometimes impossible to treat infections. Mandy Gaither has more on what you need to know and how to help prevent infections that can put you at risk.
It's a growing threat. In the U.S., more than 2.8 million antimicrobial resistant infections happen every year, killing more than 35,000 people, according to a 2019 CDC report.
It's this growing progression of antimicrobial resistance that makes it one of the greatest global health issues of modern time.
Dawn Sievert with the CDC says to fight this threat, antibiotic and antifungal prescribing and use needs to improve. The agency says families should also take steps to reduce risk and help stop the germs from spreading. Keep cuts clean and covered until healed. Take good care of chronic conditions like diabetes or heart disease. Keep hands clean and get vaccinated. The CDC says vaccines help prevent infections, including ones that are resistant.
With modern travel of people, animals, and goods, antimicrobial resistance can easily spread.
Sievert says the phenomenon also has the potential to affect anyone, regardless of age and health status, and can complicate nearly every health problem a person faces. Since advances in modern medicine depend greatly on antibiotics being effective, she says it can put certain surgeries, like cancer therapy, at risk.
Patients requiring these procedures and treatments are at significant risk for infection, but they might not be able to receive the needed care if antibiotics are not available.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says antimicrobial resistance is already affecting all regions worldwide and is a leading cause of death globally, with the highest burden being on low and middle income countries. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a cold start to the day. It'll be a little warmer by this afternoon. Details when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, a Pitt State student organization holds a shoe drive for kids in need.
And it's cold outside this morning. If you haven't stepped out there, you will want to grab a coat before you do. We will eventually warm up later today. Look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, the city of Carthage turns up the lights with a sparkle in Central Park.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, November the 26th. We're just a couple days now out from Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And speaking of Thanksgiving, I want to take a moment and give thanks to our engineering team. We have needed some new lights in our studio for some time.
Yes, we have.
They've been changing them out. They changed out more at some point yesterday. And I'm telling you, at first, we thought it was just really bright in here.
Yeah.
But I think what it was is the old ones had become so dim, we got used to it being dark.
Yes, we did. And
this
so
is
when you
how it's
walk in
supposed
here,
to
you're
look.
like, whoa, but they have been working so hard
They
this
have.
week and last week as well. So
To get all this
big
set up
thank you
there.
to
They're
them.
not done yet, but boy, it looks phenomenal.
Yes.
So we want to give them a big shout out. Big thanks. You will not want to give me a shout. In fact, I may have to go into hiding for a couple of days and not go to the grocery store because it's cold. Remember, I don't control the weather, man. I just tell you about it. And it's cold right now. Let's take a look outside. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We got a partly cloudy skies out there. And I've told you before, if I could control the weather, it'd be 70 degrees year round with just the right amount of rainfall when we need it. But that's not how it works. We just have to contend with what Mother Nature gives us. That looks pretty good though. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line looks good as well. Again, we are partly cloudy, a little hard to see right now. We'll get some daylight and it'll be a little more obvious that we are partly cloudy. And we're going to spend today partly to mostly cloudy. We'll have a southerly breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That will actually allow most of us to do a little more warming today. We're looking at highs going into the low 50s for the majority of us, but still some upper 40s will be possible, and temperatures gradually falling slowly through the evening instead of quickly, as we're going to see clouds increasing this evening as well, and eventually just going straight up cloudy for our Wednesday. 24 in Joplin, 25 in Pittsburgh. Thankfully, the winds are light at this point. Otherwise, it'd feel a lot worse than what it already probably does. 21, Iola and Stockton as the cold spots out there, at least the cooler spots. Cassville, the slightly warmer spot, sitting at 29 and a mix of 20s in between. Kids getting on the bus, very likely their last day this week. 27. Partly cloudy, calm winds. Definitely want that coat, but maybe make it something that you can put away easily or you can roll the sleeves up on, because there'll be a pinch warmer, all right? My kids say that, if it's 30 degrees, they still say it's warm outside, so I don't know where they get that. Low 50s, though. Partly cloudy, south breeze 5 to 10. Again, highs for most of us into the low 50s. Some upper 40s will be possible in a mix of those partly to mostly cloudy skies until we get into the evening and we eventually just see straight up mostly cloudy skies. Winds increase tomorrow. We've got some slight rain chances, and then we've got another big temperature drop. Details on all that, plus your Thanksgiving Day forecast here in just a couple more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, we've enjoyed some mild days this fall, but don't be fooled, and you won't be if you stepped outside this morning, because winter is just around the corner, and with that, those falling temperatures. Now, these cold conditions affect not only us, but also our vehicles. The question now, do you have the essentials in your car if you get stranded? We spoke to experts who shared crucial advice on how to stay safe and prepared in case you need roadside assistance.
It really starts with, performing those regular maintenance items, making sure you're keeping up with your oil changes, getting your tires rotated. But tires are important during the winter. You want to make sure you have enough tread depth in your tires. And an easy way to check that at home is you could take a quarter, turn it upside down, put it in your tread. If you can see the top of Washington's head sticking out, then you know that it's likely time to start looking for some new tires.
Jabaria says colder temperatures also can cause your battery power to drop 35%. He recommends keeping your jumper cables in your vehicle at all times. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather, including those colder temperatures, with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. And don't forget, our Feed the 4 States campaign is still going strong. Yesterday afternoon, Ron's Supermarket held a food drive with all the proceeds going to the Wesley House Food Pantry in Pittsburgh.
I think what's so great about food drives like this is it allows people in the community a chance to also give. So we buy a lot of food through the Kansas Food Bank and through other sources, but this is a way that community members can help out those that need a little extra help this holiday season.
You can donate to Feed the Four States anytime online on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. There are many places during the holidays who are serving up Thanksgiving dinners that won't cost a thing. You can scan this QR code and head over to our events page on KOAMnewsnow.com for a listing of places hosting Thanksgiving Day dinners. Now keep in mind, some places may require sign-ups before you can attend, so check in with host organizations to make sure. And while you're on our events page, make sure and check out all the other events happening in and around the area. The HHPR Club at Pitt State encourages the public to take a walk in someone else's shoes. Yesterday, the club hosted the Souls for Souls shoe drive. The club invited the public out to donate lightly used shoes for those in need. If you missed the opportunity to donate yesterday, not to worry, the drive runs for the entire month of November. And the Joplin Parks and Recreation will soon put a cost share grant from the Missouri Department of Conservation to good use. The department will use the Community Forestry Cost Share Grant to update its existing tree inventory, assesses trees for risk in city parks, and prune trees in Campbell Parkway and Senator Ron Richard Memorial Park. Now, Joplin Parks and Rec staff collect tree and forest information to make decisions about tree care that benefits residents and improves the safety and health of pruned trees in these areas. Last night, hundreds of Carthage residents gathered at Central Park in Carthage to watch as the mayor and the Carthage Water and Electric Board president flipped the switch, turning the park into a winter wonderland. Now, this is the 4th year for Sparkle in the Park, a dazzling light display created by Carthage Water and Electric Plant employees.
So I'm with my sister and one of my good friends, and so I brought my sister out because I'm home from college for Thanksgiving break, and so I was like, let's come and see the lights at Carthage, and then got to bring one of my friends with me as well, and so it's just really special to get to come with your family and your friends and hang out and take pictures and just have a good time.
Sparkle in the Park featured appearances by both Santa, his elves, and the Grinch. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. More than a dozen of people are missing after a tourist yacht sank in the Red Sea. Plus, Israel and Hezbollah are moving closer to a ceasefire agreement. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Fist fights and scuffles between opposition lawmakers and the ruling party break out in Serbia's parliament. The pushing and shoving comes weeks after a deadly rail station roof collapse that killed 15 people. Opposition lawmakers want to discuss who is responsible for the crash. The lawmakers displaying a banner that reads "Blood is on your hands." The ruling party, in return, held their own banner accusing the opposition of wanting war while Serbia wants to work. The opposing groups began to grab the banners from each other, which caused fights to erupt. A cargo plane on approach to a Lithuanian airport crashes Monday morning, killing at least one person. The DHL cargo plane, a Boeing 737, crashed on approach to the airport in Vilnius, Lithuania's capital, just before 5:30 a.m. local time. Now, fire and rescue authorities say the plane then skidded over a few hundred meters and into a nearby house. At least 2 people were taken to a hospital from the crash, and the person killed was a member of the flight crew but was not a pilot. Firefighters freed the 2 pilots from the cockpit. Authorities are investigating and do not yet know the cause of the crash, but have not yet ruled out the possibility of a terrorist act. Well, at least 17 people are missing after a tourist yacht sank in the Red Sea. Egyptian officials received a report shortly before dawn on Monday of a distress call made from the yacht. The vessel went missing following warnings about rough seas. The regional governor says 31 tourists and 14 crew members were on board. Rescuers have saved 28 people so far. Some of them were airlifted to hospitals for treatment. And it's not clear what caused the boat to sink. The Egyptian Meteorological Authority did issue rough sea warnings warnings on Saturday and advised against maritime activity for Sunday and Monday. Media reports say Israel and Hezbollah are moving closer to a ceasefire agreement, but it's not stopping the two sides from exchanging hostilities. Alex Hogan is in Tel Aviv with the latest.
Israeli airstrikes rocking Beirut Monday, one day after Hezbollah carried out its heaviest day of bombardment on Israel in weeks, launching more than 250 rockets and missiles toward Israel Sunday. While smoke marks city skylines across the neighboring countries, diplomatic progress to broker a ceasefire is underway.
We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line, and we're hopeful we can get one, but we need both of the parties to get to yes.
Lebanon's Deputy Speaker of Parliament today told Reuters that there are no serious obstacles left, Israel touting progress too.
We haven't finalized it, but we are moving forward. I assume that the cabinet will meet today or tomorrow to discuss it.
The ceasefire would include a 60-day pause in fighting, the withdrawal of Israeli forces from Lebanon, Hezbollah retreating from the southern border of Lebanon, and Lebanon's army creating a buffer along the border with UN peacekeeping workers. Certain sticking points have held up talks, like Israel wanting more guarantees to make sure Hezbollah's weapons are removed from the border and wanting to be able to strike Hezbollah sites in Lebanon if they believe the militant group is going to violate the agreement.
Israel suspects that the Lebanese army will also fail, and that to keep the Hezbollah fighters out. That is why Israel wants to be able to go back in there as part of the deal.
Washington sent U.S. Special Envoy Amos Hochstein to hammer out details last week. Today, an NSC spokesperson telling Fox, "We continue to work to reach a diplomatic resolution to allow civilians on both sides of the blue line to be able to safely return to their homes."
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, just after 5:45 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with the future track into this afternoon. And we've got a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll also have a southerly breeze out there that will allow us to be a little warmer today for most of us. We're looking at low 50s and some upper 40s out there. And that south wind not gusting like what we saw yesterday either. So we're talking south breeze 5-10 miles an hour. We go into the late evening and overnight, clouds thicken up and we'll eventually start our Wednesday cloudy. And through our day Wednesday, maybe even as early as 8 a.m., could see an isolated shower or two here or there. Now, later in the day, we're going to show you the future track. It's going to show a lot more rain, but again, it is painting where a shower or two could be. I don't think we're looking at a widespread rain event like you're seeing right here, but nonetheless, there's that chance of a shower or two tomorrow. Now, some good news, tomorrow will be even warmer. The bad news, it will be the warmest day we have for quite some time. And the other, I guess there's a second piece of good news. It's expected to be warm enough that any rain we see will be rain. It will not be snow. It will not be ice. It will not be any of that. Now, what we have to watch out for, though, from Wednesday night into Thursday, temperatures are going to fall pretty quick. That rain associated with a boundary. Winds will shift out of the north. And so we do have to watch out for the possibility of maybe some patchy black ice early Thursday morning because temperatures will drop and then they're not going to move that fast during the day on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a pretty chilly day. And I do apologize. I'm not sure why, but the future track clouds have stopped moving and they're still not moving, but it will clear out for our Thanksgiving, which we'll talk about more here in just a moment. First, don't check out those temperatures. You need to know this because it's cold, okay? And it's 24 in Joplin right now, south-southwest breeze at about 3 miles an hour. And as we look at temperatures around the region, it is cold. We've got 21 in Iola and Stockton as the cold spots, and the warmer spot is 29 in Cassville. So we're all into the 20s across the region. Thankfully, again, right now, the winds are light and variable, so nothing too crazy in terms of wind chills. But take a look at these temperature changes from yesterday. Anywhere from 20 to nearly 30 degrees colder now than what we had at this time yesterday morning. So, again, a much colder start to the day. All right, partly cloudy through the morning. Cold start again, upper 20s, low 40s by 11 o'clock. And as we head into the afternoon, most of us should make the low 50s. Again, with that mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, winds south at about 5 to 10. But again, some of us may top out in the upper 40s. Still not bad, all things considered. Into the evening, clouds will thicken up. We're going mostly cloudy through the evening hours, down to the low 40s by 10. But as you can see, as the clouds increase, remember how they kind of work as a blanket, it does slow down the drop in temperatures as we go overnight. Most of us should be the low 40s, but a couple of upper 30s will be possible. As for Thanksgiving, here's what we're looking at. Clear skies. Again, eventually we'll make highs in the low 40s in between that noon and 6 p.m. spot. But as you can see, most of the day will be spent in the 30s. So do prepare for that. Make sure you're bundled up because it will be cold. And it'll be cold overnight as well if you're staying out a little later, back down into the mid-20s. So again, warmer tomorrow, upper 50s, south breeze, eventually a northwest breeze, gusting to 20. Cold, a little warmer Saturday. Cold again, upper 30s and low 40s on Sunday. And we'll start to warm up a bit by next week. That is a check of your forecast. We will be back with more right after this.
Well, Christmas is right around the corner, and volunteers came together to transform a Ronald McDonald House in Lexington, Kentucky into a winter wonderland. Paxton Boyd reports.
As the holiday season approaches, not every family has the luxury of spending this time at home. For many, the holiday season is a time of gratitude and reflection, spending the holidays at home, surrounded by the ones you love. However, not every family has that luxury.
This is a special place for families that are struggling with illnesses in their family, and this is a way that you can come in, whether it's clean or provide meals or just come here and help in any way you can.
When the best medical treatment for a child is far from home, families can remain together at the Ronald McDonald House, where they can enjoy some home-cooked meals and receive compassionate hospitality from staff and volunteers, all near the child's hospital. Still, there may be some trouble getting into the holiday spirit. That's where Kentucky's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives come in.
We start out this morning and the house is just in its normal shape, and just in a couple hours all of our volunteers together are just going to transform it into a Christmas time. And so when the families get back this evening, they left and went to the hospital, and when they come back, their families are just going to be seeing the house lit up and decorated for Christmas.
Joe Settles with Touchstone Energy says they've been partnering with the Ronald McDonald House for 7 years now. It's an initiative that's continued to grow over the years, with more than 30 volunteers helping to light and decorate the house. Nate Graham, CEO of the Ronald McDonald House of the Bluegrass, has enjoyed watching the project evolve over the last several years.
It continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year. They come with new ideas every year, just to bring some of that holiday spirit to families who unfortunately can't be home. And so we try to make this as a home away from home as best we can.
The goal, he says, is to remove as much stress as possible for these families and allow them to be present in the care of their child. And while they may not be home for the holidays, the newly decorated home does help to make things a little more merry and bright.
It just brings a little bit of joy and reminds them of home with the Christmas trees and the lights and all of the things that this great group of people do for them. It's just a reminder of the holiday and how special the holidays are, and it's truly a holiday of thankfulness. It's a holiday of giving back and support, and so that's what these folks do.
A gorgeous display for a great cause. Stick around. We'll be right back. As millions across the country prepare to sink their teeth into their favorite Thanksgiving dishes, some animals at the Brooksfield Zoo, Chicago, and Illinois got an early taste of Thanksgiving. Goats, lions, seals, a tiger, and sloth all got an assortment of food in Thanksgiving-themed containers. The meals, depending on the type of animal, ranged from lettuce and broccoli to tasty morsels of meat, unflavored gelatin, green beans, and corn. Well, if you have a sweet tooth and love baked goods, it is your day. Today is National Cake Day, a day to celebrate one of the most popular and diverse desserts around. There are countless styles of cake that people enjoy, including, of course, red velvet, angel food, and even upside down. You can join in on the fun by making a cake from scratch or maybe a box. You don't have baking skills, pick up a cake from a bakery to share with friends and family. Who says you can't have your cake and eat it too? Okay.
Hey, for me though, every day is cake day, all right? Every day could be cake day. And maybe today's a good day for a cake anyway, all right? It's going to be cold. Good day to stay inside, maybe bake a cake. You can warm up the house a little bit. 29 to start, partly cloudy skies, low 40s by 11 a.m. We're heading for highs. Most of us should make the low 50s with a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. South breeze 5 to 10, but some of us may top out in the upper 40s, especially our northern counties. As we head into the evening, we'll still have that south breeze, clouds thickening up, so mostly cloudy. That ends up slowing down the drop in temperatures. So most of us should be in the low 40s, but a couple upper 30s will certainly be possible. As for Thanksgiving, it's going to be a cold one. Now, in between the noon and 6 p.m. time frame here, we'll make highs eventually in the low 40s, but this kind of gives you an idea that most of the day will be spent in the 30s. So make sure you are dressed appropriately. And if for any reason, if you're staying late with the relatives, make sure that you bundle up as well. It's going to be back into the mid-20s overnight Thanksgiving. All right, upper 50s tomorrow, gusty northwest winds. They'll eventually shift on us, pushing 20 miles an hour, and then temperatures drop. So even though we have some shower chances during the day, that could lead to some patchy black ice late night and into Thanksgiving morning, so do keep that in mind. We're going to warm up a pinch Saturday, then be cold again Sunday, and warm up again by next week. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this.